I guess I just wanted to ask a question for my men. What exactly does accountability look like?
So, do men hold men accountable? No, right? But it's a lot of caveats to the, no. We don't. No, we don't. But it's like as a man, I'm not going to share those aspects of my life in a lot of the cases, right? As a man, I know what I can bring to Markeith. I know as him being my frat brother, him being my real brother, but he know what he can bring to me, and I know what I can bring to him. He knows what I'm going to accept, and he knows what. So I know, Markeith, he ain't that dude. I know his pops, I know his moms. It's about church. I can't take that over there. I'm not gonna put myself in a situation as a man to bring that to his front door in a lot of cases. And that's self accountability on my end. That man has a family. If I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do in the dark, I'm gonna do it in the dark by myself. Or if not, I'm gonna go to a person who's going to accept that behavior and I'm gonna go hang out with them on that side. And that's the self accountability on your end. So do we hold each other accountable? No, because in most cases we don't open that door as men. We don't hold each other accountable because we don't share that aspect of our life with each other enough for it to be held accountable.
So, I think this is he's making a good point, and I disagree because that's not how I sort of live my life. But that doesn't mean his point's not valid. It's the same thing I tell people when you're talking about therapy. It's garbage in, garbage out. If you are not accountable with, say, your therapist or with your boys, right, then they can't give you any type of genuine feedback, period. You protect those parts of your life from scrutiny because you either are ashamed of it and you know this is a failing of it, so you don't bring that to people, especially when you have an emotional interest and especially you have that person's respect. But in terms of like accountability of not being accountable, yeah, it's this is what you're creating around you. So when you lack it, right? Or you just think that if I'm going to do something like this, I can do it off to the side where no one else is looking, where it'll be nice and safe, but, free from sort of criticism, then yeah, you absolutely lack accountability. But this is not the same as saying that other men don't hold men accountable. This is just what you've created in your group. You've blocked off the criticism. You've blocked off allowing people to bring you to task on anything. This is not to say men aren't doing it. Just you're preventing men from doing it with you. This is when you have to look at it as sort of a personal failing. Before we continue to like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you don't miss no uploads. I'm still trying to do two a day. If you're just seeing me, seeing my face, you subscribed, you're OG. Shout out to you guys. Um, then yes, your notification bell because YouTube does what YouTube will do. But accountability, right? The reason I chose this video, accountability is a really, really critical thing and a hot topic that I don't think is ever going to go away. It's easy. We end up pointing the finger back and forth where we say women aren't accountable and you'll give a plethora of examples and then well, no, men are accountable, men don't hold each other accountable. And I've heard things ranging as so far as all men are responsible to hold every man accountable, like I'm responsible for the wrongdoings of people I don't know. Then and we can debate that, and I'm on the side of I can only control what's around me. I can only control like my circle because you push and pull people from your circle, pull people closer when it's necessary, push them away when it's necessary. Specifically, we're talking with men, men and friends group, and I do this because I think it's wholeheartedly it's important because this is where you get a lot of your emotional stability. This is where you get a lot of this this EQ out, right? You get a lot of this tenseness that you're building with. This is where you sort of just can regular and set yourself back, right? You have to create that space, and it has to be amongst men that you respect and respect, men that when they criticize you, and it cuts right past your ego. Your ego doesn't even activate because these people have been assembled in your life, particularly for one reason, is that when they say something to you, they're concerned with your mental health, your safety, and your self improvement. That's their intent. That's always their intent. Jealousy, animosity has nothing to should be culled from your group. If you have men like that, then you have to push them further away. These are not the people that you come to when things are bad or things are good. You don't celebrate, you don't break bread with these. This is how you keep yourself accountable. This is how you hold other men accountable. I'm not responsible for the men I don't respect. I don't. I'm not. The ones close to me, they hold me accountable. I hold them accountable. I'm slipping, especially if I gave my word or I'm doing something that's outside of my own character, they're the first to notice because they're close. Now, when you call someone you're like he did in the video, this is no shade, no dig. But when you call someone, this is my frat brother, this is my real brother, and you then avoid situations where, okay, I'm going to do my dirt. I'm going to do it over here because I know he would not want that. He holds himself to this standard. Yeah, you're dodging accountability. And the accusations of the women are absolutely right. You're dodging accountability rather than coming and saying, "Hey, man," and you guys have that time where you could break it down and you could understand why you did it. What's pushing you to do? You know it's wrong. I know it's wrong, and it goes against everything we know about your character. This is the time for self improvement. Sometimes that's scary, right? Coming to someone with your own flaws is scary. To me, what's scarier is having another year pass and you being the very same person you've always been. And the easiest way for you to address these things, because you address your weaknesses. Times of high stress, where things are going wrong, or you're straying from your own personal creative path. These are great times to say, expose your weaknesses and say, "This is what I have to do. This I have to get better." And then you get to see the people that are part of that journey with you. You get to build a level of trust that you probably aren't familiar with. That takes time, that takes effort, that takes reveling in your mistakes and saying, "Yeah, I messed up. Let's talk about it." One of my best friend, we would have these whole conversations where made it like into a game show. It was like, "Yo, am I bugging?" And I would tell him the situation. I would try to be as unbiased as possible, right? As possible. And you know, I don't know, we never kept the tally, but there have been plenty of times where he's like, "Yo, E, you're bugging. You're bugging. This is on you." And then I've got to go back and I got to make amends. I got to fix things, and I've got to come to grips and say, "What did I do wrong here?" Right? Shout out to Blurf. Um, we haven't had to have play that game in such a long time, but that's the type of that's how you hold each other accountable. And if you don't do that, if you run from that, then that should be a telling thing on your own. If you don't have a circle like that, that's something you got to build. As a man, that's something you have to build. Right? If you're interested in growth and improvement, that's absolutely something you have to build. And it sucks, it's rough, but you come out so much better on the other end. So, in this sense, it's hard to say men don't hold other men accountable. I think that's too broad of a question. But if you think I'm missing something, or you got a different strategy for this, or you think I don't need accountability in my life, let me know down in the comments. You see videos on your screen, that means I'm doing my job well in these videos. Take a look at those. Let me know what you think as well. And of course, you listen to Sound My Voice. You haven't subscribed, you haven't dropped a comment, you haven't shared a video, you haven't hyped the video. I'm not really sure what that does yet. Then yeah, shame on you. Shame on you. I'll see you guys in the next one.